My perception of hard times has been fluctuating over time. Sometimes I have believed or said to people that hard times are what builds you up. Sometimes I've said that hard times are really, really bad. We don't want them in our lives. And sometimes I've thought to myself, this is a building block, and at least I'm feeling something rather than nothing. What you can hear is that I've had a pretty mixed feelings of the harder times in my life. I don't want to make it too dramatic, to be honest, because it hasn't been horribly bad, but I've just been through stuff that most people probably have been through, like divorce, bullying, splitting up with a best friend, just overall obstacles that you just can go through at normal times. And I feel like I'm not as emotional as most people, or as emotional as most people. So that makes me when I feel negative, I know that many people are on a pretty regular basis. So I remember on this one particular day when my parents had just got divorced, I felt extremely bored, lonely. I didn't really know what to spend my time doing. And how I was able to bounce back from that, how I was able to bounce back from these things, I didn't learn until a couple of years later, when it was basically too late. And then I started to actually heal those wounds later on. The first step towards improving your mental health and bouncing back is to make progress on the invisible things. What you've realized, what you might have been interested in after a hard time, is that you might want to take all of this pain and transmute it into a business, into a sport, or whatever. And you might have not succeeded because it feels like the manifestation of the pain points are really, really big, but you just can't seem to transmute it into something like a sport or something, because it's too hard. You just catch yourself scrolling, you catch yourself I don't even know, wasting time, being just sad and just sitting there, just feeling bad about yourself. And that's something that I've been dealing with as well for myself for a very, very long time. I'm not saying it's anything particularly wrong with it, but the reason I feel like you can't really transmute it into something that's purposeful is because you haven't made progress on the invisible things. The first thing is that you have to basically solve this thing, which is you have to make yourself able to not hold things within. That basically means that whenever you have an emotion, you have to be able to articulate it either through words, through text, writing it down, speaking to a family member or a trusted one. One of the best things you can do is just to articulate how you feel to people. I don't feel that great right now, and I just wanted to tell you that, and then you can discuss some of the things. If you don't really feel like you have anybody, I have a free mental health community in the link in the description. If you just feel like you want to talk to people and just discuss your situation open and honestly without people judging you. Now, if you have somebody, you can turn to a family member, a trusted one, or whatever, and just have this discussion. Label it and try to just have this open flow of emotions and gratitude as well, for you being able to actually articulate these things. And it's okay to show some emotions in these contexts, because the problem with the stoic path that many people are on, or not the stoic, but this what would you call it, the self-help niche, is that we bury things inside of work, inside of personal development. And it's fine to transmute your energy, the energy that's left after you have articulated your thoughts, but you first of all have to get some of the toxic energy inside of your body, if you want to call it that. You get rid of that through talking, and then you won't feel perfect, and then you can go out and transmute it into something real world. Running, doing a sport, talking to the camera or whatever, putting into a purposeful external thing. Now, what I want to discuss now is that you have started to articulate your thoughts. Then you basically have to avoid to amplify this to the best of your ability. What do I mean? Well, the second step here is really about not getting drawn into this rhythm where you consume content, you consume things that make this thing worse. For example, for me, I'm very, very susceptible to political opinions, political debates, and all of this, because it's such a deep, complex topic, and I have my own ideas and whatever, and I'm not really willing to share it right now, because I don't feel like they're good enough to sort of say that. But when you have a pretty strong ideas of like how you want the world to function, etc., it's going to take a lot of mental energy and strain if you really can't feel like you can make a difference right now in the present moment. So what you need to do is you need to take a step back from all of the drama and try to make an impact on your own little small community. So for example, if you feel like, okay, so I have a tendency to want to like become successful or become rich. Well, what is that need? It's probably the need for space, freedom, and to build something. How can I do that, first of all, on such a small scale that I'm actually able to take this, like, whatever you want to call it, like this energy and turn it into and mold it into something on a smaller scale that actually scratches the itch for now, and then I've built the foundation, and then I can start building the things that are bigger. What I spoke about earlier, that you need to make progress on the invisible things first, that's really, really true. Because to be able to, like, let's say for me, when I wanted to start this YouTube channel, I first of all had to have some stories to talk about and some advice to give. I had to consume content, and how could I consume content? Well, I needed the attention span to actually watch some more educational, some more raw, open, and honest, like scientific or whatever you want to call it, educational content to be able to actually learn stuff, to then be able to conduct my thoughts in a way that actually resonated with people. And how I was able to do that was just to speak, and give myself enough feedback so that I could actually become the person who was able to articulate my message in a way that actually is quite coherent, and not like I'm not the best speaker in the world, but I've significantly improved, at least from when I started. Now, what I want to tell you about this is that if you can be comfortable doing something that doesn't really please your ego, like making your bed, cleaning up your room, and just like keeping your house in order. For example, like you help your parents like get the laundry, you help your parents like wash the dishes, because this isn't something that's super common. If your house looks like a complete mess most of the time, and your family is really like that, either because like they say they don't have time or whatever, if you're the person who can start cleaning up a little bit, that will signal to people that you're about to do an identity shift. You've shifted something inside of you, and that will make you more susceptible to actually creating that trust in other people so that you can pursue the things that you want to. Now, furthermore, another thing that you can do, like the third step of this protocol of like improving like your mental health and bouncing back from hard times, is leveraging the present moment and mindfulness. Mindfulness is the best, like 10 out of 10 way to like become present. And I'm not talking about something like that's called delayed gratification, when you do stuff for your future self. That's a topic for a separate video. But leveraging this very moment, you have to be able to, as many times throughout the day, if you do this, you won't feel anxious. You will be able to think so much clearer, focus so much better, etc. It's such a big thing that it will literally completely revolutionize how you see the entire world. Feel your feet, feel like your butt, wherever you're sitting. If you're sitting down, just feel like the seat. Feel your feet, feel your breath, feel your head maybe resting towards like a stance or whatever. Take a real deep breath and like feel every single part of your body. And now you've just entered what's called the present moment. Experience the experience of basically nothing. That's the key here. Whenever your mind drifts away and wanders, it will do eventually. It will take some like reflection. But after some time, you will realize, okay, I've had a thought right now. I was thinking about this video game or this thing or this thing. What you just do is you just bring yourself back into this moment. And if you start to feel anxious, or you have this lump of like negative emotion inside of you, what I want you to do is just try and feel it and become aware of it. And this is how we make progress. Now, this is really all I had to say for today. I hope that you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.